Good morning and welcome to NewsWatch Today. I'm Ruby Mitchell.
And I'm Nicholas Brownlee. This week, AGTS is starting a new Spanish degree program.
And Activities Board announces a brand new event.
Madison Tabor is here with your forecast, and Hannah Qualls has your latest sports news. This is NewsWatch Today. Thanks for joining us this morning. Standing by is our weather anchor, Madison, to give us the first look at the forecast.
Yes, Madison. What is the weather looking like today?
Yes, we've had some very interesting weather. If you've been watching the news, you saw on February 2nd that the groundhog said it's 6 more weeks of winter, which is very upsetting. But we have seen some spouts of warmness here and there in February, but now we're going back into what the weather looks like in normal February. As we can see, our current conditions today is a high of 42 with a low of 36 and a wind of 80 miles per hour. So you're not going to feel any wind. But we'll get back to what the full forecast looks like very soon. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. I'm eager to see what the rest of the week will look like.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to the full forecast.
The Activities Board is back at it again, bringing an all-new opportunity for campus-wide fame. EU Icons. EU Icons is an event made for everyone to enjoy, whether they are on or off stage. Both individuals and groups can submit an application to perform for the show on Evangel Connect before Wednesday, February 26th. The EU Icons preliminaries will be held in the Barnett Recital Hall on Thursday, February 27th, and the finals will take place in the Spence Chapel on Saturday, April 5th. The finals will be very enjoyable for the audience because they'll vote on the winner, but the victor will receive a cash prize.
The Assemblies of God Theological Seminary recently announced its first ever Spanish language Doctor of Ministry degree. This new program is the first fully accredited Doctor of Ministry program within the Assemblies of God, designed exclusively for Hispanic ministers and led by experienced Hispanic theologians. The 30 credit hour program will begin its first cohort this fall. Dr. John Battaglia, the director of the Doctor of Ministry program at the seminary, claims this initiative is a bold step forward in equipping and empowering leaders within the Hispanic community.
This spring, Epiphany is sponsoring 2 writing contests, the free verse poetry contest and the closed verse poetry contest. The English faculty and alumni will be the readers of each piece of poetry, and they will read them without knowledge about who wrote each piece. Everyone on campus is allowed to participate and try to earn a cash prize, which will go to the first place winner, the second place winner, and even those in the honorable mentions list. The deadline for submitting poems will be March 23rd.
Spotify reported its first full year of profitability since its founding nearly 20 years ago. The Swedish audio streamer reported a profit of nearly $1.2 billion for 2024. It also reported monthly active users jumped 12% for the fourth quarter. This is the highest quarter increase in the company's history. Last year, the tech giant raised subscription prices in many parts of the world. This helps boost revenue, which has played a role in its increased profitability.
Plus lost 7,000 subscribers, while Hulu gained 1.6 million after price increases took effect in October. Disney owns both streaming services. The subscriber losses at Disney Plus were not as bad as analysts expected, and Hulu's gain was better than expected. Meanwhile, the animated hit, Moana 2, helped the parent company's sales for the last 3 months of 2024 overall. Disney reported revenue that was up 5% over the years.
On Tuesday, February 11th, Evangel University will be hosting its annual event, Cocoa with Christy, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Christy Ensminger will be on the quad, providing refreshments and mingling with students. Churros and Pampas Empanadas will both be on campus, and a hot cocoa bar will be provided courtesy of Sodexo. Refreshments are free for students. If you're interested, head to the quad at 6:30 p.m. on February 11th to grab a snack and have a conversation with Christy.
Coming up, A classic band has won a Grammy years after they broke up.
After that, I'll be here with a special guest from Evangel's campus. Stay with us.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
The Beatles' song, Now and Then, won a Best Rock Performance Grammy on Sunday. It marks the first time the band was recognized by their recording academy since 1997. Now and Then was written by John Lennon, who died in 1980. It features original vocals that Lennon recorded in 1970 that were preserved with AI. The track was finished and released last year by the band's living members Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. McCartney refers to it as the last Beatles song. Their Grammy win comes 55 years after the Beatles broke up in 1970. Standing by is Ruby with a staff member who is going to give us a look into Evangel's dining service. Ruby?
Thanks, Nick. With us today is the General Manager of Evangel's Dining Services, Crystal Grounds. Thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely. It's nice to be here.
Great. Let's ask you a few questions. So, Crystal, what is involved with being the head general manager of Sodexo here?
So the most important thing with what I do on campus here is to not only provide nutritious meals, but safe meals, and that we're providing a nice community for the students to be able to enjoy their meals on campus. It's collaborating with departments. It's also having catering functions on campus to help make larger the events that we have with our students, and to create just, the biggest thing is the experience. Not only are you eating food with us on campus, but you should be able to do it in a community that's fun, energetic, safe, and ever-changing.
Yeah, that's awesome. How does Sodexo and the dining services help out with special events on campus? You talked about catering. Is there anything else that goes into that?
So yes, absolutely. When we meet with departments, we talk a lot about what it is that the focus is, the theme for their event, and how food can be brought into the picture to help make that even more of an experience for them. For instance, when we do things like Cook Out with Carl, and we're out on the lawn and we're talking about, doing a barbecue food and things like that. How do we make those tastes emphasize that kind of experience for the students? And then not only that, but utilizing food service to help promote things that are going on in other departments as well. And just, when we're having Classy Christmas or, any of those other fun events on campus, how does the food, the beverage, the service emphasize and elevate that event for them?
Yeah, awesome. So speaking of special events, we recently had our Clash of the Smash Burger. What went into that? I know you were one of the chefs for one of those teams. What was that like for you? Could you give us a rundown of what went into the behind the scenes of that event?
Yes, so it was one of the most successful events I've seen us do so far on campus. There was a lot of departments involved. We had Christy Rowden and Pastor Mark were heavily involved in helping us get that program together, getting people from facilities involved, getting Dr. Spence involved with the cooking as well. There were people from all over and students involved as well in the cooking in the kitchen. And it's about bringing the community into our space for a little bit of time and getting them to see what it's like on our side, preparing for the meal, but then also providing like a fun challenge experience for the students who are out in the dining room too. So I think it was a great experience on both sides. the internal with Sodexo. And then also on the outside with the students who are participating in the collaboration on, I mean, we had the AB Club in there. We had the Student Culinary Council, who are members talking to us about the student experience on campus. They were heavily involved. And it was just a great collaboration between multiple departments. And I think ultimately it was a really, really fun event and a pretty successful one too.
Yeah, the student body really seemed to enjoy that. So that was a great event. What events or specialty meals should Evangel students be looking for in the future from Sodexo?
Right, so one thing I always want to emphasize, and I talked to my Student Culinary Council about this too, is we have a calendar that's in our hallway coming into the dining center, and that always has some great events posted on it so that you can kind of plan for it and make sure you come to our dining center during our special features. So for instance, we have one today at lunch. It's the boba tea. We have that station open again this semester. And then also we are working towards our Valentine's specials next week. So the Barracks Coffee Shop will be selling chocolate covered strawberries. And then also Friday night we will be featuring a Valentine's dinner, which is a Swipe Plus event. And students will be able to start reserving their spaces for that next week, Monday.
Okay, awesome. So, if students are wanting to get involved with that council, what are some quick ways that they're able to do that, and how are they able to get involved with playing a role in that experience?
So Christy Rodden has been a great champion and a great partner with Sodexo as far as getting that Student Culinary Council built and then also coordinating everybody coming together for those meetings. She takes the minutes, she helps to make sure we post those minutes, and she just kind of has a great rhythm for it. So my first shot would be to say Christy Rodden is a great resource. They can always reach out to me as well. I am absolutely available to anybody, anytime. I pretty much live here on this campus, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Our staff is extremely approachable, so even if they didn't necessarily want to come to me, any of the staff members can help get them involved.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing with us today, Crystal.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to go back to the desk with Nick and Madison.
Thanks, Ruby. So, Madison, is the weather going to start being consistent?
So far, it looks like it will be. We had some really warm weather earlier this week, but it's starting to go back into what what February is going to be looking like. But I'll have the full forecast very soon, so keep watching.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
On Tuesday, the Humane Society of Missouri brought to their shelter 50 dogs from 2 different rescues and 25 cats from an abandoned property. This sudden influx of rescue animals is uncommon for the Humane Society and has put a strain on the shelter's resources and workers. After providing the animals with proper care and an evaluation from the Society's behavior team, the animals will be made available for adoption.
It's good news that all those animals were rescued.
Indeed. Now let's send it over to Madison. How's the weather looking for this upcoming week?
Well, I hope all of you guys at home enjoyed the weather this past Monday. It was very warm, but unfortunately we're going back into what normal February looks like. And so today, for the current conditions at the moment, we're looking at a high of 42 with a low of 36 and then a wind of 8 miles per hour. So you're not really going to be feeling that wind. And for the today overall, we're seeing a high of 53. So we're still kind of going up more in the warm weather, but not fully warm. And if you've been already out this morning, you're gonna see some rain here and there, but not too much, and it's gonna clear up very soon. And going into Friday, we're going to have a high of 42 and a low of 34. We're going to see a little bit of rain here and there tomorrow, and we're going to have a bit of overcast and a wind of 12 miles per hour. And going into the weekend, on Saturday, we have a high of 44. So we're going back down in our weather. It's going to start to get really cold, really chilly. So make sure you're wearing exactly what you need to be wearing to do well with the weather changes. And then on our satellite, we're seeing some overcast of some weather, some clouds, seeing over here in Missouri. So we're really cloudy going with that. And onto our radar over here, we see some, like I said earlier, some scattered showers in the Springfield area, but it's gonna kind of go away eventually. So we're not gonna be seeing much rain anytime soon. So if you're coming out later in today, make sure you don't have your raincoats because you won't need it very much. And going into over here, we have some rain down in the southern area of our United States and some down here of Springfield. But like I said, you're not going to see much of rain much longer, and we're going to have a cold chill come down. So make sure you're prepared for that, because after the warm weather we recently just had, it's going to be very cold. And going into our extended forecast, if you can see on Monday, we're going to have some snow. Very, very different from what we've just experienced a week ago. So make sure you're prepared for that, getting your winter coats on. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to actually see that very cold weather, what you usually see with snow, with a high of 28 and a high of 27. So make sure you have all your coats, all the things that you need, because you're going to be seeing some snow. So get out there, make some snow, man, because we're not going to see that much often. This has been All Things Weathery with Madison Tabor. Back to you guys.
After the break, Hannah Qualls will be here to give us our latest in sports news.
And a new story shines an interesting spotlight on our phone usage. We'll be right back with that and more.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Mothers and fathers are advised to practice what they preach when it comes to screen time. Parental phone habits could have a direct link to the phone habits of their sons and daughters, according to a study published Tuesday in the BMC Pediatrics Journal. The bottom line? Adults who spend a lot of time on their phones are likely to have kids who follow suit. The findings are based on more than 10,000 12 and 13-year-olds. Researchers say it's basically impossible for people to not use their phones, but they recommend trying to place limits on screen time.
That's really eye-opening.
Yeah. Hannah Qualls is standing by to give us the latest in sports. Hannah?
Thanks, Nick. Tom Brady will be a color commentator for this year's Super Bowl. This comes as Brady joined Fox News football broadcast team after retiring in 2023. During his football career, Brady appeared in the coveted game 10 different times, winning 7 of those matches. Brady will be commentating with fellow anchor Kelvin Burkhardt. The Super Bowl will be on Sunday, February 9th, with the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Philadelphia Eagles. The game will take place in New Orleans and will broadcast on Fox Network. According to ESPN, 29-year-old Grant Udinski is leaving the Minnesota Vikings to coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Udinski will take the role of offense coordinator for the Jaguars. This comes after the Jaguars also hired a new head coach this year in the form of Liam Cohen. Cohen said that Udinski will bring a wealth of knowledge, energy, and winning mindset to help lead our offense here in Jacksonville. Evangel women's and men's track had ranked the top 25 in the nation. The women's team moved up to 22nd in their respective ranking, while the men's team entered the top 25 for the first time in Evangel history, earning spot number 23. These rankings come from the rating index done by the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association. Both teams will compete this upcoming weekend at the Bearcat Invitational in Maryville, Missouri.
Thanks, Hannah. Isn't it great to see our athletes here at Evangel doing so well?
Yes, it is. Stay tuned to hear about some free deals you can get for the weekend's big game.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
With the upcoming Super Bowl this Sunday, several organizations will be offering freebies for people and pets. The pet retailer Chewy is giving away 59,000 treats for birds, dogs, and cats through the website redeemable promo codes, only if the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs. In addition to this, Chipotle is giving away up to 50,000 free entrees when something extra happens during the game. Applebee's is also offering 20 free boneless wings with any online purchase of $40 or more on Sunday with a promo code. And Buffalo Wild Wings is offering 6 free wings on February 24th if the big game goes into overtime.
I'm personally very excited for the big game this weekend.
Yeah, with the big game, people are going to be wondering about weather and grilling. So Madison, how is the weather looking for the days ahead?
Thanks, Ruby. Let's look at this week's weather. As we can see for today, we have a high of 53, and as we go into the week, we're gonna have 40s until Tuesday. That's something to be really cautious about looking into. We have a high of 28, and Wednesday we have a high of 27, but both days, it looks like we're gonna have some snow. So we're gonna go from 53 all the way to 27, so make sure you're aware of that, you're watching the weather, and stay warm throughout the week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. That's all for us today. Check out euvalormedia.com for more Evangel news. I'm Ruby Mitchell.
And I'm Nicholas Brownlee. Please join us next week here on NewsWatch Today.